how would you grade the federal government's fiscal management?
I definitely think CERB was a great measure. I support that kind of thing. I know it's a difficult thing because it meant a lot of debt going forward. I wish I had good advice for how to go on, from here on. I do think CERB was a great measure.
Well, the CERB is a very touchy subject. Some people are abusing it, and I guess it's hard to say if it was good or not. I'm sure some people benefited from it. And again, there's some people that just abuse it. So fiscally, I don't know. Who knows? I think it'd be years before we figure out the real problem that it caused.
Well, for me, I would give it a high grade because I'm self-employed and I felt that they kind of gave us support. So I feel like a higher grade, maybe a B, would be where I would give them.
I think it's outrageous. I think what they got done is gone way over and beyond. It's nuts. Where all this money's come from, I'll never understand it. I don't know. There's a lot of people getting paid and you can't get no one to work. I mean, that doesn't make no sense to me at all. But anyway, that's what they're doing, and to me it doesn't seem right. But again, the government seems to think that they're doing right. They're trying to help everybody. Sometimes I think it's just political and it's all about votes. So I don't know where it's going to go, but I think we're paying out too much money for people who don't want to work. I mean, that's one thing I really think is out of reach. Paying kids to stay home doesn't make sense to me.
I think they were stuck between a rock and a hard place. And I think they did as well as anyone else could have done. I know they've been criticized, and anything as big as the government, there's going to be mistakes made. But on the whole, I'd give them a passing grade, and I haven't heard anything better from the naysayers that would actually work. I mean, it's easy enough to criticize. It's a lot harder to come up with a concrete way of going about things.
I think fiscal management is lacking. I think they need to control spending a little bit more than what they've done. I think they've done a pretty good job with COVID, but I think fiscal management is a little bit short.
I guess with the payments that are given to people, they depend on that to survive, so it's a good thing. If they didn't have the government to help, what would they have? Nothing.
I think they did a pretty good job trying to help the people that went out of work and that had a hard time trying to figure out how they're going to get their next paycheck, especially for the people that have been working check to check, and I understand how it feels. And I think they've been doing a pretty decent job compared to some different countries.
My personal position is I would like to one day own a home. Been saving up for a down payment, but if you look at the average price of a home when Justin Trudeau took power, it was around $460,000, and now it's in the $800,000. So the average price of a home's gone up 86% or something crazy like that in the past 8 years.
Well, they spent a lot of money because definitely it was for a good use. You have to preserve your citizens. You have to preserve life. If you tell people not to go to work, stay home, get CERB, get assistance, they spend money buying vaccines. I think it's a good thing. It's better you have the citizens alive than they're dead.
Like B+. I don't agree with everything, but I do understand that it's a pandemic. It's something we haven't really seen before, so I understand that they don't know how to react as well.
The markets went up crazy ever since the pandemic. I remember CERB at the beginning. I think that was very helpful as a student too. I mean, getting that, because we weren't able to work, and even I know there's a COVID benefit, that's very helpful.
It's going to be interesting how it all unfolds. I think we're going to see a huge increase in taxes as we go forward, and it'll be interesting where they come up with all this money that they've invented over the short term. Hopefully we're not paying for it too much.
Oh, it's a complete and utter disaster. Absolute disaster. I've never seen anything so absurd in my life as what they're doing.
I love the intention of it. Unfortunately, I think it got really abused.
Yes.
And then it crippled our economy.
Yeah.
And so people are sitting at home doing nothing, and businesses are crying for staff. So unfortunately, I don't think that part worked. It was a good idea.
Good idea. Absolutely.
But thankful that there was help available.
Yeah.
I mean, I was actually really proud of our government for that.
Yes. They did handle it well. It just got abused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they did all they could in an extremely difficult situation. It's easy to look in hindsight and criticize. They spent an awful lot of money. But I don't see, with the exception of CERB perhaps having dragged on a bit too long, I don't see that they've squandered money or spent it unnecessarily.
Fiscally, I think he's done an abysmal job. I think he has no idea of economic structure, and he is not helpful to small business in the least. His idea is to tax and spend. He's in bed with the NDP, whose idea is to tax and spend and woo over a voter with money. And so it doesn't work. We're going to be poorer than ever. Our grandchildren will suffer terribly, and I think he's done a very bad job.
I know that I run a small business, and what they provided helped us. It helped us a lot in the one summer where we couldn't operate for half. So I'm assuming that everybody benefited from that. How we're going to come out the other end, I'm not sure. Somebody's got to pay for it somewhere. But it did get us over the hump personally, so I'm grateful for what they put out there.